in for the primetime games, and that's what we do here on the drive-thru Monday through Friday here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's serve live free sports picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later. And to deliver those winners, our professional handicappers over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. Let's take a peek at who's on the show with us here for today. All right, we got Chris with us, Big Guy McMordie. It's Wednesdays with Mitch. Ninos, Dana Lane will sign in bottom of the hour. Brad Francis, also Wayne Scott. Jay is also going to sign in as well on the show. And here's how they'll line up for this evening. We got Ruffolo, Mitch, McMordie, Scott, Ninos, Briggs, Lane, Francis, then I will close this one out. All right, that's all baseball, as you know. Day action, so I'll have 7 games for you today in primetime action. So let's get this one underway. Let's welcome in Chris Ruffolo. You'll catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. We'll bring him in right now. Ready to roll here with Chris. Catch him in the mornings every day at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time with that morning show. Of course, there's home run prop video as well. You want to catch those as well on the channel. Bring him in. Ready to go with Chris. Chris, what's happening?
Tony, doing well. Just enjoying the afternoon baseball action. How you doing?
Yeah, just kind of winding down here, right? Just one game left after all this early starts, but on a 15-game card, a little more than half the games in the afternoon. Ready for this primetime game. We got a good one tonight here. NL West action as the Padres on the road here to face the Giants. The Padres slim favorites, total of 8.
Yeah, the San Francisco Giants continue to be disrespected, but the Cincinnati Reds made it 11 straight wins today. I think the Giants are going to join them with a double-digit win streak of their own. They've won 9 in a row and are coming into this game with some confidence. The Padres continue to be disappointing. They continue to be inconsistent. And Darvish getting the start here. And Darvish coming off a start where he gave up 6 runs over 5 innings to the Tampa Bay Rays. It's now 4 of his last 6 starts where he's allowed at least 4 runs in a start. And look over the course of his career, going back his last 5 starts against the San Francisco Giants, really had no success against the Giants. 0-2 with a 9.75 ERA. And now what looks to be a bullpen game for the San Francisco Giants with Ryan Walker as in the opener role. The Padres going against the second best bullpen in June. The San Francisco Giants a 2.21 staff ERA in the month. While the Giants also, top 10 in team OPS against righties in June. WRC plus, isolated power. This is a Giants team that's just generating a ton of offense. They've done it in the past against Darvish. I think they're going to do it again here. So give me the San Francisco Giants on the money line at plus money.
There you go. We have Chris here on the Giants plus 105 against the Padres. Yeah, you definitely like the bats here from the Giants side. Of course, it's funny you bring up those great bullpen numbers, and you got to wonder about Manaea. He looks to be the bulk guy today, and I guess the Giants still have confidence in him despite that ERA over 6, pitching in a pitcher's park here like San Francisco.
Yeah, I kind of take Manaea's numbers with a grain of salt because I believe he was one of the pitchers that faced off against the Padres in these games in Mexico City. I know it's only one game, but those numbers do get factored into his ERA. But I've never been a Manaea fan, going back to his time with the Oakland A's. But it seems like this move to the bullpen has still served him slightly well. I mean, he was getting lit up as a starter, but coming in as a long relief arm. For me, even if it wasn't Manaea, these Padres bats are just far too inconsistent for me to really trust against a team swinging a hot stick like the Giants. So, Manaea or no Manaea, I still would like the Giants in this one.
There you go. We got Chris here on the Giants plus 105 here against the Padres. This one to have a start time here of 9:45 Eastern Time. All right, Chris, let's go over at Pick Document for nice action. Of course, 7 games on the board here for Major League Baseball. Good units. So we know it's early to talk football, but if you're looking for a football guy, keep Chris in mind here. They're coming off a great NFL season. 7 games on the board for Major League Baseball. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
I'll tell you, I had a ton of afternoon action. Swept the board in the afternoon, 3-0. Now we're looking to finish strong in my lone play tonight, my MLB primetime play. But if you're looking for something long-term, that's the best way to go. 3 days all the way up to a year. Best bang for your buck over at Pick Dogs Premium, whether it's just with me or someone else part of that 2-for-1 capper deal.
That's right, guys. Get up board here with Chris Ruffolo over at Pick Dogs Premium. 2-for-1 capper promotion is your best value right now. Go with those long-term passes. Of course, that 30-day pass will get you all of Chris's premium plays for that period of time to select. When you go to his handicapper page, make that purchase. Pick is a promo code. Save that 15% off. All right, Chris, as always, great having you show. Have yourself a great evening. We'll catch up with you again next week. Let everybody know you're part of that morning team, and they can also catch that home run prop video you produce every day on the channel.
Yeah, like I said, daily previews, the morning show. I'm doing tons of Pick Dogs, the home run prop video as well. You can start now, have to get ready to brush up for football season as well. So you blink and it's almost here. So, but yeah, definitely check out those daily videos, the home run prop video. We've had a lot of success with it. Make sure you have the notifications turned on so that you can be notified when all the new and fresh content drops here at Pick Dogs.
That's right, guys. Subscribe, set those notifications, get those videos right away when they drop to get the best numbers. All right, Chris, have yourself a great rest of the evening, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
All right, Tony, you too. Take care.
You got it. Chris Ruffolo here on the drive-thru. Let's continue here on the show. Up next, Mitch. You catch up Mitch every day here at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time with that morning show. Because he's joined by Chris and with Rod Zawacki. Of course, you want to catch the 7 picks in 5 minutes. Betting tool show as well. A lot of content produced here on the channel. Bring him in right now. Ready to roll with Mitch here. Our first pick. Mitch, what's happened? What's going on?
Just enjoying the day's action like a lot of people out there. I love me some daytime weekday sports. We have it today. We got it tomorrow. And looks like Major League Baseball has more of it this season than ever before. I mean, normally they have it at the first few weeks of the season. But this year, there really seems to be a lot of carryover with these daytime weekday games. So I like it.
Yep, looks exciting indeed. All right, Mitch, here we go tonight. That was an interesting one last night between this Rangers and White Sox. Rangers go out head-to-head here. Rangers favored here at -110. Total sits 9.5.
Yeah, Rangers backers crying like little bitches about, some call that was called exactly how it is in the book. Meanwhile, the same people, get the beneficiary of some bullshit call in an NFL game or whatever, and it's all good. And I was on the right side of it probably the first time in my life, and I'll take it. I'll take it. A bad call that went my way is not a bad call at all. Actually, it's a good call, and I'll take it all the way. They just call it the way it is in the book, and I think this is, the issue with replay, and I think this is the issue with the rules in all the sports. It's not the replay that's the issue; it's the rule itself. And I think if a catcher can't have his foot on the plate, and that's part of the rule. If the catcher's foot is on the plate, it's called blocking the plate. That means you got to have a guy with 10 to 12 foot arms to be able to tag a runner doing a hook slide. I mean, that really is the only way, to be able to get a guy out on a play at the plate if that truly is blocking the plate. And that's what they called last night. It wasn't the home umpire that blew the call. There was no blown call. It was the replay making the call based upon what the rule is. And I think we see it all the time, just like taunting, just like targeting in college football, right? To the rule, it's, you see targeting in college football. And it's like, it's clearly not intentional. It's part of the game. And, the guy moving his head, just rules that need to be changed and rules that need to be modified. And intent, I think, has a lot to do with it. And of course, when you get into intent, you're back to a judgment call once again. But I think a lot of times it's pretty obvious as to what the intent was. I had the White Sox in that one. Like I said, I cashed my ticket. I did not give the money back. I didn't say, I got a crazy call there and I went on that. Take it and move on. And believe me, I had plenty of these that go against me as well. Because I had the Angels also last night, and they had one where the guy was clearly safe at the plate. They overturned it and called him out. I mean, there was no way there was conclusive evidence of that. It's just, you're not going to win those calls against the Dodgers or the Yankees. But the White Sox and Rangers back at it again today. And, I've been big on Martin Perez in his recent, over the last few years. You give some credit where credit is due. And, the thing is that he hasn't been spectacular. He's been the beneficiary of some really big offense. And I think that's all part of the equation as well. He's pitched well enough that he hasn't taken himself out of it. But at the same time, he's not going to carry this team on his shoulders either. And when we look at the Texas Rangers over their last 10 games, this is not the same red hot Texas Rangers that we saw a few weeks ago. This is a 4-6 in your last 10 game Texas Rangers team. And I think against Michael Kopech, who was seen as a guy who was, a next level pitcher. When you trade Chris Sale and what you get back is seen as holding them robbery, and you got 2 players back when you traded for Chris Sale. You got 2 players back, and you consider to have won that trade going away, and one of those players is Michael Kopech. Well, then he has clearly a very, very high ceiling. He's been a head case. He certainly is. It hasn't been he jumps into the major leagues and he's just a sensation. It's been a learning process for Kopech, and I think he had a game earlier this season where he gave up 5 home runs, and since then he has been absolutely lights out, living up to exactly what he was billed to be. The trade was Chris Sale for Moncada and Kopech, and Kopech is starting to become that pitcher. And I think that if he becomes that pitcher, I think you're going to see the White Sox contend. I'm a White Sox fan. I kind of was very disgruntled and a little bit taken aback by the first month of the season. but they're actually playing really good baseball recently. I know the record doesn't always show it, but they're playing hard. They're competitive and playing in the American League Central. They're only 5.5 games back, despite the record. So 11 games under 500. I think this one's going to be another one like last night's game. It's going to be a wild one. I just think like the White Sox again to get it done. The Rangers are going to be mad, and I think that frustration leads to poor pitch selection as far as hitting and things like that. I could see the White Sox getting it done again here.
All right, Mitch, let's go White Sox here, minus 106, minus 104 against Rangers. Get the best numbers, open multiple books, get the best numbers that way, and shop for the best line. Yeah, Mitch, now we've just seen the line move now minus 104 on each side. Of course, with the White Sox, it's consistency at the plate. Yeah, we see these games where they score 7 runs, but we see a lot of these games where they put up a deuce or a single.
Yeah, and it's all part of the process, and it's all getting the lineup together. This is a team that, even though they never made it to the top of the mountain, they are in somewhat of a transitional year. Cutting bait with Jose Abreu he was the heart and soul and the leader in the clubhouse, and now it's kind of a new thing going on, and they're finding new answers. And we saw that last night. The guy that got the win. People forget about last night's game. That say he's out at the plate. It's a tie ball game. It's not like they won, the Rangers, were winning. The Rangers had the lead. Their bullpen was getting shellacked. I mean, they were getting knocked around. So I think there's a lot more to this. And I think what we're starting to see a little bit of a changing of the guard in other positions as well. And some young guys coming in. And, a lot of times you find those answers in guys that you don't expect it. We look back at the last White Sox team when they won the World Series. I mean, look at the role that Scott Podsednik played on that team. And I think you need some Podsedniks to win a World Series. You got to have those type of guys.
Absolutely. Here, got Mitch here. White Sox minus 106, minus 104 here against the Rangers. This one is start here, 8 Eastern time. Lots of day action. That's what we do here. Kind of go around the league, kind of pick Mitch's brain here with some of these teams and what he thinks about them. Earlier today, Rays get it done 7-2 against the Orioles. They close as a 141 favorite.
They jumped out early on the Orioles, and we saw this in a lot of games. Teams jump out to big leads early in these afternoon games, and the Orioles, they just didn't have enough to come back in this one. I think the Orioles, them and the Blue Jays continue to catch teams. Their schedule makers have not been friends to these teams, even though they get to play all these games outside of their division. It seems they're catching the teams inside their division when they're hot. They're catching the teams outside of their division when they're hot. But I don't think the Orioles, have anything to worry about here.
All right, Blue Jays and Marlins. Blue Jays again, another team they started fast here. 6-3 against the Marlins. They got to Miami's pitching today.
Yep, Sandy has allowed now. He's had 6 innings this season where he's been absolutely bludgeoned. He's had 6 blow-up innings this year, and that's 6 more blow-up innings than he had all of last season. So today he had one of those. Outside of that one inning where he allowed the 5 runs, he didn't allow a run. He allowed nothing. He was brilliant. He was Sandy. But, that second inning, you don't get it back. I think, the Marlins still sit here 9 games over 500, number 1 in the National League wild card. I think sitting on that pitching staff that they're sitting on, I don't think they're really sweating it out too bad. Sandy hasn't even come, Sandy, of all their pitchers, has been the least performing. So it's like when your Cy Young Award winner, your ace of the staff, is the guy that's not pitching well. So you got to figure that his best baseball is ahead of him. Man, you got to kind of like where you're at with things. And, with the trade deadline getting closer and closer, I mean, it's clear the Marlins have a strategy. It's like they are not letting any of these pitchers go unless you give them, unless you basically pay a king's ransom. You want a Marlins pitcher, you're going to give up the AL batting champ. That's what it's going to take.
That's what it's going to take. All right, there. Next game, we saw the Cubs get it done again. Pirates again. This Pirates team, they're always good for a situation where they lose where they win 2 out of 17. It seems like they do that twice every year. They show some promise and then they hit the tank again. 8-3, Cubs win it.
The lack of depth by the Pirates is really starting to catch up with them already. We kind of knew this. I don't think anyone expected the Pirates to do much this season, and it's starting to show up. The Cubs on the other side, they were one of my picks as a surprise team for the season, and they're delivering on that. I think when you shore up the right down the middle, catcher, second baseman, shortstop, center fielder, right down the middle, that's how you build a good team, and that's exactly where the Cubs are building it. With Nico Horner and Swanson in the middle of that infield, getting rid of Wilson Contreras, who's just an absolute joke of a catcher. Getting rid of him, it's addition by subtraction. And look at the way the team is playing. When he's seen as like, oh, this guy that's so great at working with the pitchers and everything, look at the mileage they're getting out of these guys without this joke behind the plate. And look at the team that he went to, and look at what they're doing. Last place, worst start in franchise history.
That's right. And
not a coincidence.
I'm rolling. I'm looking forward to that Dana Lane segment at the end of the show. He's going to be pretty mad about his Pirates. All right, Rockies, Reds. Reds get it done again. A 5-3 against the Rocks. They cover the run line.
Yeah, the Rockies jumped out to the early lead. The Reds reeled them in, and they are simply feeling it right now. 11 games in a row now for the Cincinnati Reds, or was it 11 or 12 in a row now? 11 in a row? 12 in a row. 11 in a row, something like that. But the Reds have actually caught a pretty soft part of the schedule. They caught the Astros when they were playing poorly. It's like a lot of that has to do with it, but they're taking advantage of it. I like these young teams, these next man up type teams like the Reds have. Not really a lot of big money players on this roster, but these guys are having fun. They don't know they're not supposed to win, and it's like that's pretty much the way that it is. It's like they don't know they're not supposed to. They go down 3-1. They don't have a fear in the world that they're not going to come back and get it done. I'm not saying it's going to hold up over the course of the season. We'll have to see, but for right now, the Reds are red hot. I'd love to see them up against, some of the tougher teams, the Braves and the Yankees and the Rays and some teams like that.
There we go. Next game up, but we've got here the Royals and Tigers. Tigers get it done here as favorites, 9-4 being KC.
Yeah, this was, we saw the Royals win yesterday, so since they only win 20% of their games and we didn't get 5-1 odds on the Royals, I've bet the Tigers pretty heavily today. If a team wins 20% of their games, you need to get 5-1 odds in order to break even, if you're betting on them. So I don't see anyone handing out 5-1 odds. In fact, the Royals, if anything, have been overbet. I think at plus 122 on the road, coming off of a rare win, a 1-0 game. I mean, it doesn't even make sense.
D-backs again get it done at the Brewers here, 5-1 in the final.
Brewers had the lead, and Tehran pitched exceptional once again. Tehran came out of the game, and the Diamondbacks took control in that one. The Brewers got the home run off Gallen. They had the 1-0 lead. They just could not hold on, and once again, it was the Brewers' bullpen that let them down. This game was a lot of late scoring by the Diamondbacks that makes the game look a lot more one-sided, but the bulk of the game was very, very close, and Tehran and Gallen was just a great pitcher's duel through the first 6 or 7 innings of this game.
Yeah, Gallen has had his struggles on the road this year, but the D-backs get it done 5-1 here against the Brewers. And Mets and Astros, what a slugfest this was. The Astros outlast New York here 10-8.
I love this game. I watched this game, the whole game I watched, and the beauty of this is one of those games where everybody's uniform is just dirty. Everyone's got a dirty uniform. The guy gets up to the plate, and it's just, you can't even see what team he's on, because it's just dirt all the way across it. It's almost like a mud football game. And everyone in this game had the dirt going across the uniform. 19 hits, I think, 3 errors. Just went through an entire battery of pitchers, and you saw everything in this game. Just seemed like the ball was really carrying, and Houston as well, and it was just a fun game to watch.
Certainly was. And of course, we've got a game here that just completed here. Nationals complete the shutout 3-0 against the Cardinals.
I think it's time for the Cardinals. Once again, it's like just when it looks like they're taking a few steps forward, it all comes to an end for them. And the problem that they have here is, despite all the good things that they've done over the last 3 or 4 days or 5 days, it all goes out the window with one loss because they're so far back in the standings. With the Reds, who now lead that division, they just, with all those wins that the Cardinals got, they gained no ground on the Reds. And, that loss there today, it's just another game back that they fall in the whole standings. Meanwhile, the Nationals, this team is, the thing I like about the Nationals, they're not pretending that they have like a chance or anything. They don't have any we're just going to keep this, high-priced guy for leadership. They have Corbin because they can't get rid of him. He makes a ton of money. They can't get rid of him. So it's like he's the only guy on the team that's really like one of those big price tag guys. And outside of that, I like the way they're building. I still think Josiah Gray has a good high side, despite what we saw from him yesterday or 2 days ago. And Gore, I think that he does too. And I thought that him screaming at his teammate in the dugout yesterday was just what it's all about. And then they put him Robles on the injured list today after yesterday's standing there and watching a ball drop in front of him, and then the next guy up hits a 2-run homer. I mean, that's just the worst.
Yeah, that's bad. There we go. The rundown here from Mitch here from the afternoon baseball. Mitch, let everybody know what's going on over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place as we're getting into the late stages here of June. And that means we're getting closer and closer to football.
Yeah, it's crazy because normally by this time of the year, it already seems like, oh, we're dying for football and we're dying for football, but it doesn't feel, I don't have that same feel right now that we normally do. And things are happening at Pick Dogs, and we have, you guys are seeing it here on the drive-through, hopefully, and you guys hopefully are seeing it throughout Pick Dogs, but it's not just Mitch doing videos anymore, right? It's like we've got a lot of people doing videos. Tony said Chris Ruffolo is now doing a home run prop video, and that'll become like a touchdown prop video or something in the NFL season. We've got Mike Davis doing some afternoon live shows, and that'll be expanded upon as well. Having a morning live show and an afternoon live show and an evening live show. So we're not going to be 24-hour broadcasting, but we're going to have 24 hours worth of programming for sure between our recorded and live videos. We have, with football coming up, I'm planning on doing football every day of the week at Pick Dogs as well on the video side. I haven't talked to Jay and Al, but I'm hoping to do our NFL show like we did last year as part of that programming. I don't want to do a live show every single day on the NFL with me being on it, but I definitely want to keep our show. And that will be the Pick Dogs daily show for that day for NFL. Not going to give that up unless those guys don't want to do it. You can ask them. They're both on today's show. And then in college football, I do a college show with Ron Romanelli and Chris Ruffolo. I don't plan on giving that show up either, but I do plan on having other college shows. So there's a lot to talk about with football, a lot of different ways to look at it. And we have a lot of different cappers interested in talking about football. I think one thing that we're starting to realize here at our Pick Dogs channel, and you can come back on with me, Tony, is that I think what a lot of the cappers are realizing and the people at Pick Dogs is what makes us different is that, they're not doing us a favor by doing videos on our channel. They want to do videos on our channel, and they want to be part of it because everyone can see what's happening here. And this is something bigger than that's ever been done in sports handicapping as far as video. And it's bigger than, Big Al, I know, used to be on a show that was on regular television, but I believe what we're doing here on Pick Dog reaches more people than that show reached. I do. We're reaching, millions and millions of people every single week. And, it's exciting, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger. I know that there's a lot of channels out there that try and copy what we do, but they can't copy what we do because they're copying what we do instead of being creative and coming up with their own things. And that's what makes us different. We're all different here at Pick Dogs. Everyone has their own thing. We have some guys that, they try and avoid controversy. We have other guys like me that I have no problem calling it how I see it. It is what it is. And, we just stick together. Everyone brings what they can to the table. We don't always agree on everything. We don't always agree on every game. We don't always agree on every pick. I know Jay Briggs is going to come on here and say that the Rangers got hosed last night, even though they got beat fair and square. We all know that. Absolutely. But, it's like Mavs in 4.
That's
like,
right.
I just think that we have our own fun internally. But the thing is that when you have a family like we have at Pick Dogs, is like we bicker internally sometimes. We don't agree sometimes internally, but let somebody else say something bad about it. And then all of a sudden, like the gloves are off, right?
Yep.
And it's like that's what a family is. So I'm excited to be part of it. I'm excited for what we have coming this football season. We have a whole new redo of Sports Chat Plays. We've rolled out just a small portion of the design, but we have a whole new content redo. We have a whole new everything going on there at Sports Chat. And then some of our other sites that you guys, that we never talk about. Some of my other websites that we never even mentioned on this show. Arbitragecalc.com. So it's a betting calculator site that I also have that goes through, and also I have an app for that one too. That has all these different calculators for all of these different types of bets, like the real complicated ones that are like a real bitch to do the math on. We have an app and I have a website for it, but I never say anything about it. So we're going to start integrating that in with some of our other content. And then I also have one for people that are newer to betting. It's called wageringterms.com, where I have things, and it's basically like a glossary of terms site. It's killer URL, right? So it's like we're going to expand. And the thing is, I have it. It's fully populated with content. It's like I just have never really used it for much. So we're going to start integrating that in with what we do to try and expand our brand in different ways to different people, and also to give our cappers, because we do have a really good bunch of guys that like Brad Francis, who's on the show today. I've said it all along. I think Brad needs to be more in front of everybody. And he volunteered to come on today's show because there was an opening. But I think that Brad's super talented, and he should be on every single day on something. He should be doing something every single day, and people should get to know who he is. And I think that when they get to know who he is, he's probably going to be more popular than I am. Which isn't going to be that tough.
No. that's interesting, right? It's amazing that this industry.
Tony's like, Tony's like, we've had a good run. But he's like, I think we see the young guys coming.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
fight it.
We're not passing the torch. They're grabbing. You're not passing the torch, but just grabbing it from you.
Yeah, and I don't mind it. I don't mind. I've had a really good run, so I don't mind it. But I see the future, and I don't think I'm part of it. So I think we have them here. So.
Absolutely. Great platform. As always, guys, make sure you check them out. And of course, make sure you like, subscribe, set those notifications. Let's get to 200K. By when, Mitch? By when?
Tomorrow.
Right.
Tomorrow.
Let's get to 200K by tomorrow.
10 million. They have like a titanium award for 10 million. I need to have it. Gold is the next at $1 million, and then whatever after that. So,
all right, there we go. Onwards to that 10 million mark. All right, Mitch, have a great week. We'll catch up with you next week.
Aloha, everyone.
All right, Mitch here. Sorry, Mitch here on the drive-thru. Guys, if you missed a pick, we'll recap. Let's continue on. Time for Big Al McMordie. You'll catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. We'll bring him in right now. Al McMordie, ready to roll. Al, Big Al, what's happening?
Oh, not much. Although a pitching change just came through in the game.
Yeah. Well, actually, it looks like it's an opener situation. I believe. It doesn't change my play, but I just wanted to highlight that in case people, that's why we do the drive-through. You get the late breaking information. That's exactly why.
Graterol instead of Michael Grove for the Dodgers tonight.
That's right. Graterol gets the start. I think he had a bad outing last time. I think that Giants got to him in his last outing anyway. Dodgers, Angels going head-to-head. Angels favored here in Anaheim, -139. Total sits here at 9 runs.
Yeah, I had a big play on the Dodgers last night. They had a nice shutout win behind Clayton Kershaw. I'm going to switch gears, Tony, in this game tonight. I'm going to actually take the Angels. The Dodgers, off a win this season, they're a horrible 17-22, minus 15.2 net games on the money line when they're off a win in their previous game. And obviously, they're an underdog tonight with this pitching matchup. Shohei Ohtani's going for the Angels. And the Dodgers, I've talked about it several times this year with you. Whenever they're an underdog, I'm going to fade the Dodgers. And they're now a wallet-busting 23-44 as a road underdog of plus 150 or less, minus 17.5 net games on the money line. Meanwhile, the Angels, they're 39-18 plus 8.5 net games as a favorite with Ohtani. But when Ohtani's installed as an underdog, it flips. And then they're 7-13 minus 4.7 net games. I wanted to talk about how bad Michael Grove is as a starter. Now, you just said that he's going to get the bulk of the work.
He's going to get the bulk of the work. Graterol has been named as the opener. So Graterol probably get the first inning, then we'll see more Michael Grove expected to take the bulk of the inning.
Well, the good news for Grove then, he's made 12 starts in his career, and he's yet to throw a quality start in those 12 starts. So this one won't count against that because it's technically not a start. His ERA for his career is 6.37. He's dreadful. I'm going to take the Angels minus $1.39.
The Angels here minus 139. Dodgers dealing with lots of injuries, right? Buehler out. We got Urias having some issues. Syndergaard didn't work out for them. We haven't seen the Dodgers pitching situation. We've seen the bullpen like the second worst in baseball. We haven't seen this. I can't remember last time we said the Dodgers bullpen this deep in the season, right?
Yeah, I mean it's been a long time. I mean, I didn't expect the Dodgers to be great this year, but I also didn't expect them to be like this either. So.
Yeah, interesting to see what's happening there. I don't. Yeah, I have my own theories here. Of course, as we know, being in California, sports betting is not legalized, and I'm thinking maybe some of that betting revenue going to New York, going to some of these other other places where they can have a little bit more money to spend on players. They're not going to have out in California. They're not going to have that extra revenue you get from these big sports betting sponsors.
Well, they get it from, the Chevrolet dealership that Oral Hershiser Pence. I forget the name of that
That's
one.
right.
Whatever they get their, money from.
And
I don't think the Dodgers ownership group is hurting for any money, especially with that parking lot and
$30 a park. $30
bucks
to park your car in Dodger Stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, that's better than the Rams. I had to pay $213 to go to the Rams Cowboys game last year and park my car.
Oh gosh, you probably weren't in California when back when the Coliseum days when you would park on. The residents would sell parking on their grass on their lawn back in the day.
Oh, I remember. Hey, that's what we used to do it in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah.
You would let people. You would sell it for $5. Have someone park on your lawn.
Oh, there you go.
Times have changed.
Times have certainly changed, no doubt about that.
Speaking of times have changed, Mitch was talking about that TV show I used to do. Take a guess how much it cost us to produce a 1 week, just one show a week in the NFL. It'd be on USA Network or whatever. But take a guess what the production costs were to produce.
Production cost to produce one show. I'm going to say probably about $150,000.
Less, $50,000.
$50,000. Okay.
But I mean, it just shows how much times have changed. Now,
right.
What's the cost to produce something on YouTube, right?
I know.
It just changes the whole economics of the situation.
That's absolutely no doubt about that. That's why you see popping this YouTube. More and more of the content coming up here, rolling here. Big Al McMordie here on the Angels here, minus 138 against the Dodgers. This one to have a start time here of 9:30 Eastern time. All right, Big Al, let's take a look over at Pick Dodgement for tonight's action. Still 7 games on the board for Major League Baseball. Good past 7 days from Big Al. What do you have going on over at the site?
I had my play. It went in the afternoon. We won with the Tampa Bay Rays, so now 10-2, my last 12 in baseball. So I don't have anything for sale right now at Pick Dog Spree, so I apologize for that. I'll be back in action tomorrow, though, with baseball tomorrow.
Baseball tomorrow, so get on board with Big Al McMordie. Get the long-term pass. You may consider the 30-day pass from Big Al. All of his baseball for 30 days. Pick is a promo code. You'll save 15% off at checkout. Of course, that may also include any spring football. We still got spring football going? I think we do.
Yeah, I'm going to be handicapping the semifinal games tonight. So I'll tell you tomorrow if I found anything for one of those two or both of those games. But I'm going to look at it tonight.
Look at tonight. All right, Big Al, as always, great having your show. Continue your success. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
Thanks, Tony. Talk to you tomorrow.
You got it. Big Al McMordie here on the Drive Thru. Guys, if you miss any pick, we'll recap at the end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here on the Drive Thru. Go ahead and bring in Wayne Sky. I'll catch him over at Pick Dodgement. He's putting up some fantastic numbers up on the site. Bring him in right now. Wayne, what's happening?
What's going on, Tony T? What's going on, Pick Dog family?
Everything's going great. All right, let's get to your game here. We know it's the Braves and Phillies going head-to-head here in minutes. Take it away. We're starting in about 6 minutes.
All right, yes, sir. And yesterday we seen Philly snap Atlanta snap Philly's win streak, and I believe the opposite happens today. I'm riding with Philly. I think Philly snaps Atlanta win streak. They're on a 7-game win streak, 8-2 in their last 10. They are 5-2 as road underdogs in this spot. But Philly on the other side of that, they play well at home. They are 15-6 as home favorites. Both of these teams have solid batting lineups. Both of these clubs are strong, hitting very strong against right-handers. It's just we have the veteran on the mound against a young pitcher, Aaron Nolan. He hasn't played like he's used to, but he has been playing better as of recently. If he comes out there and he doesn't give up the home run ball, I do believe that Philly can get to Smith Shaver. If I'm Shaver, my fault. Smith Shaver, as he's had a good outing his first outing, but it was against the Rockies and was at home, so he had got some momentum, some home crowd momentum you can go off of. I just believe against a strong team like the Phillies, who actually play good at the Phillies, it's just not a good matchup for him tonight. And the Phillies, they go back and forth with Atlanta. They don't try to let Atlanta run away from them. They win a game, Atlanta wins a game. They win 2 games, Philly wins 2 games. I just think this is a good spot for Philly as home favorites, as a team that plays good at home, to come over here and get this win tonight. So I'm rocking with Philly minus 130 on a pretty good number for Aaron, even though he hasn't played like he's played in the past.
All right, we've got Wayne here on the Phillies here, minus 131. We do have notifications here that this game will begin in a rain delay. No start time has been set, so there is rain right now in Philadelphia. It was 44% chance of rain, 65 degree temperature. Wind blowing in 16 miles per hour in. So wind blowing in this game, you see the total 8.5.
Yes, sir. And Atlanta has about 5 or 6 batters in this lineup who's batting about under 200 against Aaron Nola. Only 2 batters I'm worried about is Riley and Acuna Jr., but you got to worry about those batters in the Atlanta lineup in every game, because those are the 2 of the hotter batters for Atlanta. So, yeah, I just think that it's just going to be a rough night for the new young pitcher over there on Atlanta side.
On the Braves side, the Braves have been pretty strong here with the bats. But you say this is where the lineup's looking, going deeper here, going into the batter versus pitcher. You see that edge there on the Phillies. And of course, it shows there in the line, right? Minus 131 here against the Braves. This one to have a start time. Well, start time has been pushed back, so you're going to have to keep an eye on the scoreboard when they release the start time. I don't have no start time yet. They haven't decided yet when they will be able to play this one. All right, Wayne, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge Print for tonight's action. Of course, Wayne, as we said, has been hot here. Look at the numbers. 1,242 units of profit last 30 days, all documented. Actually, it's been higher than that. Now, 1,837. Must have been a monster afternoon. Last 24 hours, 518 units of profit. Wayne has been on absolute fire. We told you I felt something coming from Wayne. He's already hit his 2 plays today with the Tigers and the over in the Rays and the Orioles. So, again, monster numbers here from Wayne. What do you have going over at Pick Dodge Premium?
Yes, sir. I got one more play out there that I released for you guys. I was having it long term, but I did put it out there for you guys to buy. So if you want to get on there, try to catch this 3-0, continue this hot streak, go out there and grab that. Also, I'm always advocate for that 2-for-1 handicapper. A lot of handicappers on here going off on a daily. So use that 2-for-1 handicapper. Use that promo code PICK and save you some money when you're getting these picks. And continue to cash with us, man, because that's all we're going to do here on Pick Dogs. Come out here day after day, give you these bangers, and continue to catch these profits.
That's right, guys. Got a Wayne Scott over at Pick Dodge Print. The update now is 1,837 units of profit. It's been monster numbers here from Wayne. Get on board with them. With the long-term passes will serve you well. Of course, the one-day passes are great as well. That $19 premium if you want to try them out. Remember, the one-days are credit guarantee. They must turn a profit. The amount you purchase is credit back to your account for site credits. That is credit guarantee. Or the longer-term passes aren't, because they're sold at a great discount. And you can also add that promo code. All right, Wayne, as always, great having you on the show. Continue that hot streak, and we'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me, Tony T. I'll be here tomorrow, and I'm definitely most certainly going to stay locked in for everybody. Let's get it.
That's right. Let's get it. Wayne Scott here on the drive-thru is ready to roll. Let's continue on here on the drive-thru. Ninos is up next. Catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. Also having a fantastic baseball season this year. Fantastic numbers put up by the Pick Dogs crew. We'll bring him in right now. Ninos over in the Skype world. I think we're all set to go here with Ninos. We'll get to his card here in just a second. Ready to roll here in Skype with Al. What's happening?
Going good. How are you doing, Tony?
Everything's going great. All right, here we go. Tonight, Athletics and Guardians going head-to-head. Guardians big favorites here. Total sits at 8.
Yeah, they'll be sending Gavin Williams to the mound here to give him his MLB debut, and they give Paul Blackburn, who's having a pretty good season with a 3.48 ERA, 1.35 WHIP. And the Athletics, their rematch after beating them 3-2 yesterday. Williams, a highly ranked prospect coming into this one, and he's put up some pretty great numbers in the minors. And I think he should do pretty well against this lineup that's, after a bit of a hot streak, cooled down a little bit again. And on the other side, Blackburn, yeah, as I said, he's been pitching pretty well. But he's yet to record a win due to lack of run support, and he'll be followed by the worst bullpen in the league. So look out for that. If they don't get to Blackburn early, I think they will get to this bullpen. Oakland also ranks dead last in the league in hits, batting average, slugging, runs scored, runs allowed, and home runs allowed. So it's hard to win many games when you're last in runs scored and runs allowed. And obviously they haven't won too many outside that little streak we talked about earlier. Cleveland ranks 8th in the league in terms of fielding percentage, while Oakland's tied for 19th in that category. The Guardians won 9 of the last 11 meetings against the Athletics, including 4 of the last 5 in Cleveland. So I think despite the questionable pitching matchup, I guess you could say it's still a bit of a mystery how this rookie's going to do in the majors. But again, I think he gets off to a pretty good start against this lineup here. That being said, I'm taking the Guardians here. Obviously, they're pretty juicy on the money line. We're looking at them on the run line. But again, we've seen the A's be competitive despite losing quite a few coming into this one. They've lost quite a few of them by just 1 run. So I will also be taking the money line as an my insurance policy here on the Guardians. But yeah, either way you want to go, whether you want to take the -1 or just lay the run line, I'm on the Guardians here.
You know, you might need it. You might need the insurance because it's hard with these Guardians to get the runs. As great as their pitching has been, it's this lineup that you always have to worry about. I got burned by them yesterday. Yeah, not getting enough runs, and that's the key there with the Guardians. A little more than 3 runs a game at home.
Yeah, I was sorry, just double checking these numbers. Now I think Ramirez had pretty good numbers against Blackburn, but he's pitched well against the rest of this lineup. Yeah, he has 4 hits and 10 at bats against him. And again, if he manages to keep the rest of these bats quiet, I think they'll get to the bullpen eventually. Again, we might not see the bottom of the 9th here, so. That's a bit less bullpen, Oakland bullpen, we'll see. So again, that's why, with the home team, I'd like to be careful, and especially with the teams that don't score as much as others, and take that money line as well.
All right, Ninos here. Guardians, the run line, lay the 1.5 plus 115 here against Athletics. This one will have a start time here of 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right, Ninos, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge Win for tonight's action. Of course, 7 on the board for Major League Baseball as we have a rain delay right now in that Braves and Phillies game. Good numbers in baseball, nearly 1,400 units of profit. All documented over at Pick Dodge Win. What do you have going on over at the site?
Got 2 plays up there, 2-0 so far today. Got 2 dogs left up on the board. If you want to check them out individually or grab one of those long-term passes, 2-for-1 capper passes, and get them both that way is probably your best deal.
That's right, guys. I get on board here with Ninos over at Pick Dodge Rim. Great results here in Major League Baseball. You see them there. So get on board. Also showing profit last 30 days, last 7 days. Coming in with winning day yesterday. Is Alpha Dog up there here from baseball. So get on board. Remember, these one-day passes are profit guarantee. Our credit guarantee, or go longer term. Al Ninos does have his Major League Baseball season pass. Get all of every premium play from Al Ninos from baseball for the remainder of the season, including playoffs. This goes to the final game pitch of the World Series. Pick as a promo code, you'll save 15% off. That'll knock $75 off that Major League Baseball season pass. All right, Al Ninos, is always great having you show. Continue that success, and we'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Tony. Have a good one.
You got it, El Ninos here on the drive through. Guys, if you missed a pick, we're going to recap at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. Let's continue on. Special appearance today from Jay Briggs. You'll catch him over at Pick Dog Stream. Of course, Jay's been on fire. I think I saw him atop the leaderboard now in Major League Baseball for this year. He's been on absolute fire today. We'll bring him in right now. Jay, what's happening?
Tony T, what's happening?
What's going on, man? It's all about you in Major League Baseball, where you've just been absolutely on absolute fire right now. Everything you're hitting is turning to gold. So tonight we're going to be looking. We're going to get the right game up here tonight. You're going to be looking at this Mariners and Yankees game.
Yes, sir. Mariners Yankees should be a good one. I'm going to look at the total in this one, though. I'm going to go to the under. We got my guy Luis Castillo on the mound, man. He's been one of my guys this season. Although he's lost his last 3 starts, it really hasn't been his fault. He's been solid in all 3 of those outings, man. He just didn't really get the run support against Miami, LA, or Texas, but he only gave up 2 runs, 3 runs, and 1 run. Before that, against Pittsburgh and Oakland, shutout baseball. I don't think it's too much to ask for him to have another solid outing today. I think he looks really good on the mound. On the other side, Johnny Brito. He on the other hand, is the one guy that I do have a little concern about. He got hit pretty well against the Reds in his last game, but the Reds are arguably the hottest team in baseball right now. So other than that, the game before that, he looked solid against Toronto, Oakland, Tampa, and Texas. I think together, both of them put out solid outings. I think the bullpens do enough. And I think kind of like yesterday's game, this game will be low scoring, and we fall underneath the total.
All right, we got Jay here going falling underneath total 7.5. Do your shopping. You're going to see some juice on the under 7.5. So you guys do your shopping in that game. Yeah, it'll be hard to argue that because when you look here at this Mariners team, they're only hitting 219 against right-handers. You look at the Yankees over the past 7, just 194, 3.3 runs a game. Both bullpens performing well. You can see why this total hovering between 7 and 7.5.
Yeah, it's low, really low, but I think it's for good reason. Team's not hitting, and I like I said, I really like Castillo. I think we see another solid outing from him, and probably a decent bounce back outing from Johnny Brito and bullpens chip in, do enough. Low scoring game, Yanks.
Low scoring game from Jay here on Yankees Mariners under total of 7.5. This one will have a start time here of 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right, Jay, let's take a look over at Pick.com for nice. As we said, top of the leaderboard here in Major League Baseball, 1,913. Actually, now over 2,000 units of profit. We're getting these day games being graded now on this 24-hour clock. So over 2,000 units of profit now documented over at Pick.com from Jay. Fantastic numbers. Jay, what do you have going on over at the site?
Yes, sir, man. I'm just trying to keep the momentum rolling forward, really seeing the ball well in baseball. I have my favorite play on the board still up there, my $19 MLB play of the day. It's the only play for sale left on the day, but it's the best one. So $19 gets you my favorite play on today's action. We've hit 14 of our last 20 on the MLB play of the day. So trying to keep it rolling, man. Up 2,000 units last 30 days, hitting at a 65% clip. Trying to keep it rolling, man. Hop on with me long term, short term, 2-for-1 capper special, however you want to do it. Let's continue making money throughout the summer.
All right, make money throughout the summer here with Jay Briggs over at Pick.com. Over 2,000 units of profit. Get on board with Jay. The long-term pass will serve you well. Get that 1-month pass. All of Jay's baseball for 30 days. All his premiums up there. Promo code PICK. Save that 15% off. All right, Jay, as always, great having you on the show. Continue that success, and we'll catch up with you again here tomorrow.
Yes, sir. See you guys tomorrow. Mitch asked me about the NFL show earlier. Yes, of course I plan on doing that with him and Big Al. Really love that show. And quick nugget, I know Mitch was going on a tangent earlier. Yes, my Rangers were robbed last night. That was probably the most terrible call I've seen all season. I get his point. Yes, the Rangers bullpen did allow them back in the game. But, hey, we're about to go to the 9th tie ball game. Hey, I'm taking my Rangers in that situation every time. Best offense in baseball. I think that changed the outcome of the game. But, hey, it's in the bag. We'll see how today's matchup looks.
So we'll see how today's matchup works. Again, here, Texas and the White Sox later this afternoon. All right, good evening. All right, Jay, have a great night. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow, man. Let's keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling with Jay Briggs here on the Drive-Thru. All right, guys, if you missed a pick, we're going to recap at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here on the Drive-Thru. Dana Lane is up next, coming to us from Titletown in Las Vegas with his Golden Knights hoisted the Stanley Cup. So we'll bring in Dana Lane in right now. I'll try to keep away from these Pittsburgh Pirates references because over the years we've had plenty of rants from Dana Lane on these Pirates.
Yeah, no, believe me, I appreciate being a Pirates fan because right around the NFL season where I need to start thinking about camp is when I can stop thinking about baseball. So always appreciative of the Pirates that they're in it for 2.5 months, so I don't get the waters too muddied with their various sports. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, a great first couple months. They were getting ahead in games. And then all of a sudden, pitching went out, and this was a fragile team. And we knew that, Riances wasn't going to be a guy that you're going to lean on forever, and that Rich Hill wasn't going to be a guy that was going to be a 15-20 game winner for you. But they struck some magic for a while, not out of it, but I've been following this team since probably the mid-'70s, or not the mid-'70s, early '80s, and I can tell you, I know what's coming. Right down
yeah, you're expected losing those 50. You have these twice a year where you lose 15 to 17. It just happens.
Thank God for John Fisher, because now, They Ben Sherrington, the GM of the Pirates, the focus is off of them, but the focus should be absolutely on him and Robert Nutting, who just doesn't put anything in this team from year to year. And this, what we see in Oakland right now, could easily be done in Pittsburgh, because those fans are fantastic fans, as they are in Oakland, and should be every bit as upset as what the Pirates have put out there. In fact, Tony, Andrew McCutchen, a great story coming back to Pittsburgh, just got his 3,000 hit, a fantastic story. But guess what? The Pirates didn't call him. He called the Pirates. So they had every intention of going into the season without Andrew McCutchen being in the lineup. And, he's been a spark, and he's been hurt from time to time. But, this organization, to me, has no organization. And until they want to spend in the $150 million range, they're just not going to be competitive. We see that with Kansas City, the price that you pay when you win a World Series. Well, the price you pay is you won't see it again for the next 15 to 20 years. That's just the way the economics of baseball is.
Well, it looks that way. All right, here we go to baseball. Speaking of economics, Yankees at home here facing the Mariners. The Yankees big favorites. I'm sorry, Mariners big favorites. The big guy on the mound here.
Yeah.
Minus 150, total 7.5.
Yeah, minus 150, and that gives you an idea about how good Luis Castillo is. And, of course, he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball for a very long time. But minus 150, 160. Yankees aren't underdogs at home very much. In fact, this is only the fourth time this year that they've been a dog at Yankee Stadium. And since 2018, they've been a dog just 22 times, where they're 13-9 in those games. So they do pretty well in this situation. But I do agree with the previous assessment of this being a low-scoring game. And, of course, the Yankees absolutely hurting since Aaron Judge has been out of the lineup. This is a team that just is a shell of themselves, cannot be relied on from night to night. In fact, if they win tonight, it would be only the second time since Judge went out that they've actually won a series. So maybe they'll come through tonight. But the intangible about this for me, and I know we look at a lot of numbers and we kind of, lean on, various pitching stats and recent form. But, when Brian Cashman comes out and starts talking to the media, and you could feel that he's starting to feel a little heat there, Yankees have always responded pretty well when those type of scenarios have happened. It really, when Brian Cashman's feeling the heat, the rest of the team notices. And all of a sudden it's kind of this, at least for another game or so, kind of a buckle-down effort for the Yankees, which I think we're going to see tonight. Castillo's been terrific over his last 5 starts. He's allowed just 6 earned runs and 30.2 innings of pitch. The problem is Seattle's lost 3 straight, as it was pointed out earlier in this. In 8 of the 14 games of his 14 starts, the team has lost. The Mariners have lost. So, the main problem with him, and looking at his numbers, and even throughout his history, not just as a Seattle Mariner, it's just a lack of runs scored for him. And he's been given 3 runs or less in 7 of his 14 starts. So I can't really rely on Seattle getting a ton of runs for him. And as we see that in the total. That's why the total is where it is. And even with Seattle playing, when they play a lot of close games, they're just 8 and 14 in 1-run games. So with the lower score in the game, the more likely it is it's going to be close. And that's why I can't really put all my support behind Seattle. So I'm going to take the Yankees, but we're going to take that 1.5. I know we're giving up a little bit of money, but I do want the run or a little bit of support behind my wager, because I think this is going to be a close 1-run game.
All right, Danny now goes to the Yankees plus the 1.5 here, minus 126 here against the Mariners here. Of course, Brito on the hill. Looks like he's someone who's been up and down here, and that's the one concern. But of course, with Seattle, this is a team that struggles to hit right-handers, and there's a team that struggles to beat winning teams. I think they're like 10 games under 500 against teams that have winning records this season.
I'll never figure out betting patterns by the public. I thought for sure this number would shoot up. In fact, it's going back down. Even if you look at Brito's numbers in Scranton, and this is his first call-up in like 5 weeks to the Yankees. He hasn't pitched at the major league level in a long time. I mean, he was not good at Scranton either, not good against the Yanks. But the one thing that really gives me some confidence in him is I remember games a while ago earlier in the season against Texas, top hitting team in the league. Toronto at the time was probably 1, 2, or 3 as far as the most feared offense in Major League Baseball. And he did a real good job of shutting down those offenses. And he's not a guy that doesn't have potential. He's not. There's a reason why he's the first one that gets called up quite often. He is a guy that is going to stick in this rotation at some point in his career. But right now, I mean, it's real difficult to say, hey, look, he's going to go 6, 7 innings, which he's not. I don't think he's had a quality start this year, so you can't rely on them on that. This is definitely going to be a bullpen game at some point for the Yankees, but feel a lot more comfortable with that run and a half for those various reasons. But Burrito does seem to pitch better against the better teams, or at least the teams in the playoff chase, than he does against the teams that aren't. Had one good outing against Oakland, but I guess we could throw that out the window a little bit.
All right, we got Dana now taking Yankees plus the run and a half, minus 126 against the Mariners. This one starts top of the hour. All right, Dana, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge for tonight's action. Still 7 games on the board for Major League Baseball. Atlanta and Philadelphia will begin in a rain delay, and nearly 1,800 units of profit. All document over at Pick Dodge from baseball. Fantastic baseball. See here from Dana. What do you have going over at the site?
Yeah, we got one game tonight. Of course, that Atlanta Braves game's on a holding pattern right now. We got one game late on the West Coast. This is your get-out game. They've already got a winner early on, which was good. So, hey, it's the race at the top of the pick dog standings in Major League Baseball is tightening up. So, that's when you got to buckle down and not lose your position, because everybody, I mean, from day to day, the guy in 5th could be in 1st the next day. So everybody's really buckling down to make sure that we give you the best quality plays that we possibly can.
That's right, guys. Get on board with Dana Lane over at Pick.com. Great results here. You see 1,785 units of profit here. Major League Baseball. There's all document over at Pick.com. So get on board with Dana with individual plays, or if you want, he's got that baseball package. Remember, baseball is a long season. Goes all the way to the beginning of November if we get 7 games in the World Series. So that baseball pass is a great value. Prorated right now. Get on board with Dana. Every premium play for Major League Baseball. Now until the end of the World Series, when you get that Major League Baseball pass, and of course use the promo code PICK at checkout, you'll save 15% off, which is $75 off that season pass from baseball. Get on board with it. Pick promo code, save that money. All right, Dana, as always, great having you show. Continue that success. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Thanks, Tony. All the best. Let's cash some tickets.
Cash some tickets indeed. Dana Lane here on the drive-thru. Guys, if you miss a pick, we're going to recap at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here. Brad Francis on with us today. We'll bring Brad in right now. Brad, what's happening? I think I got you on mute there, Brad. Still sound, no sound there. Why don't you sign off, sign back in again? I think that's what he's going to do. Sign out, sign back in again. That usually takes care of the issue there as we get Brad back on. Ready?
Oh, you hear me?
I can hear you now, Brad. Here we go. We got some time here. This one begins 7:40 Eastern Time. Twins hosting the Red Sox. Twins minus 117, total 8.5.
Yeah, no, I'm going to roll with the Red Sox in this one. I mean, Boston, they're one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. They've won 6 straight games, and they've been smoking this Twins team. Game 1, they won 9-3. Game 2, they won 10-4. So, I mean, throughout the series, they're outscoring this Twins team 19-7. Sonny Gray will be on the mound for the Twins. Don't get me wrong. He's been super solid this year, but I think the Red Sox could get to him. Boston, they rank 3rd in batting average, 3rd in hits, 6th in total runs. So this team could hit, and they've been hitting consistently all season. Whitlock does take the mound for the Sox, and, I mean, he's been a reliable guy in this rotation. He won his last 2 starts. Comes into this one with a 4.38 ERA, so he's not going to blow you away at all, but he's not a bad starter at all, and I don't think the Twins are just going to take off on this guy. So, look, I'm going to take my chances with this hot Red Sox team, get in plus odds. I feel like this is a good spot to take them.
All right, we got Brad here on the Red Sox. Plus 114, plus 118. Do your line shopping, get the best numbers. We're using the Shoppers Book in the world as a line service here on the graphics here. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to knock it right. I think the only check mark for the Twins is the starter, but when you look at the bullpen, you look at the hitting right now here for the Red Sox, 303 over their past 7, pushing across 7 runs a game. And the Red Sox have had success against these light hitting teams. 22-9 against an AL team hitting 255 or worse. So when they face these teams with these weak bats, they get the job done.
Yeah, exactly. And, yeah, I mean, I feel like the Red Sox are just a better team all around. Yes, the Twins may have a slight advantage in the beginning of the game, but I can see the Red Sox opening this one up late, getting some late runs and finishing it off.
All right, Brad here, Red Sox plus 114 here against the Twins. This one will have a start time here, 7:40 Eastern time. All right, Brad, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs for tonight's action. We've got on the board tonight, 7 still on the board for Major League Baseball as we're on a rain delay with Atlanta and Philadelphia. What do you have going on over at the site?
Yeah, I just realized that all my games were this morning, so I have nothing left on the site for today. But tomorrow's a new day, and we'll have some MLB games locked and loaded. So check that out, and of course, the long-term passes isn't a bad option. 3-day, 7-day, 30-day. I'm ready to get hot in the MLB. I've slowly gained some momentum, so I'm looking to keep it up.
That's right. Keep it up here with Brad Francis over at Pick Dogs. For him to get on board with those long-term passes. He does have that 1-month pass up there right now. All of Brad's premium plays for the entire month, 30 days baseball there. A promo code PICK at checkout will save you 15% off, which is $60 off that 1-month pass. So go ahead and get signed up. All right, Brad, as always, great having you show. Have yourself a great evening. We'll catch up with you again at the end of the week.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, Tony. Have a good one.
You got it. Brad Francis here on the Drive Thru. Guys, if you miss a pick, we're going to recap at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. We got games beginning here shortly, so we'll get to my pick, and then we'll get to the recap. So let me go ahead and get my game card up for you right now. We're coming in here with this, not with this game. It's not going to be this one. It's going to be, I should have moved the, here we go. This is the one we're going with. Athletics Guardians going off here in about 10 or about 15 minutes from now. Actually, 10 minutes from now. We'll get it right. We're going to be here on Athletics Guardians to go under total here of 8 runs, under 8 with Athletics and Guardians. Of course, do your line shopping to get the best numbers. Paul Blackburn will get the start. Respectable numbers in his 4 starts. ERA 3.5, whip of 1.35. 25% strikeouts, limits the walks, limits the home runs. We know Gavin Williams will start here for Cleveland. He was drafted in 2021, 23rd overall pick out of East Carolina, so he's a highly touted draft pick going 23rd in 2021. He spent 2022 in single and double A, posted 3 great starts in 2023 in double A, promoted to triple A, put up some good numbers this year. Low whip, 52 strikeouts and 41 batters. But here's the key here. Guardians 13-3 to the under against losing teams. Usually losing teams have struggled hitting. Blackburn 9-2 to the under when he's an underdog of plus 125 to plus 175, so he bears down as a dog. Cleveland's bullpen an ERA of 2.21 at home. Blackburn's good form past 2 games. Guardians averaging just 3.4 runs a game at home. Let's go under the total here of 8, and I think that's where you're going to see most of it. Opener was the 8.5, but 8's everywhere pretty much. There's some juice to the over there, but it looks like 8 is where you're going to find this one. I do see some 8.5s in some square books. That's about it, but there's a few 8.5s out there. There are actually more than I thought. But anyway, do your shopping, get the best numbers. You can find some 8.5s. I'm on record here, 8 here with this Athletics Guardians. This one to have a start time here in about 10 minutes. All right, guys, over at Pick Dogs, I have my best bet on the board. My 3-pack already off the board. My first 2 plays came in. Still one left on the 3-pack, but I have a single play right now, a best bet up there, $19 premium. So go ahead and get signed up over at Pick Dogs. I also have my long-term pass, my 3, 7, or 30-hour sports pass. Got all my premium plays for that time you select. When you go to my handicapper page and you make that purchase, use that promo code PICK at checkout, save that 15% off. All right, let's get to the recap, and then we'll let you guys go. Let's go ahead and we already did a rundown of the scores. So the scores we took care of. There are no games in progress because there is that Atlanta and Philadelphia game is in a rain delay. So let's recap. Chris got us started. Giants plus 105 against Padres. Mitch was on the White Sox minus 106 against the Rangers. Big L Angels minus 138 against the Dodgers. Wayne says Phillies minus 131 against the Braves. El Ninos Guardians run line, lay the run in half, plus 115 against the A's. Jay Yankees Mariners under 7. Dana liked the Yankees actually liked the Yankees take the run in half, so make that plus a minus 124 with the plus 1.5 against the Mariners. Brad says Red Sox plus 114 against the Twins. I'll be Athletics Guardians under 8. The one that I like the most. It's a lot of them that I like the most here. We will go here with that Brad's pick on that Red Sox plus the 114. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Drive Thru, guys. Make sure you tune in again. We're live here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll do it all over again. We'll bring in our cappers here from Big Dogs and Sports Chat Place. They'll have their place for us in prime time. Remember, always get started with that morning show every day, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time with Mitch, Chris, and Ron with that morning show. Remember, all the video series here on Pick Dogs. Ron Romani with his baseball rundown. You want to catch that. Nick Mencken, Nerfies. We got Mills with his prop picks of the day. Mike Davis, the live shows Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Also comes in with his first 5 innings, prize picks, parlays as well. Lots of content from Mike Davis here on the channel. Of course, more and more shows as we speak. Mills and Brown with their UFC show coming up. You want to check those out as well. And of course, Chris with his home run prop video now over on Pick Dog's channel. So you guys make sure you like, subscribe, and set those notifications when these videos drop. Be the first ones to get them. Get those best numbers with those picks. All right. That's going to do it here for the show. I'd like to thank everybody in the chat room in here as well. As we've got these kind of sports in here. Samuel Gomez in there as well. Rick Patel, shout out to you. Fernando Valenzuela in there. Jay was in there as well. Ninos in the chat room. Nick Beats Vegas as well as G Money in there. James Thrower with the information. Gave us that information there on that delay on that Braves and Phillies. Derek Manning, Rock Rackets, Baston Vogt. Shout out to everybody there in the chat room, as well as Steve. Latifa, shout out to Latifa there in the chat room. Mr. Dylan, John Stewart, and we've got, who else do we have in there? We have the Dude in there as well as Steve and Corey Hayes. Shout out to you guys as well. So thanks everyone for joining. Alec Eiffel as well. So shout out to everybody in the chat room. Appreciate everyone's contributions. Orderly as always. And of course, thanks to everyone in the show today. All right, that's going to do it for our show. Let's bring in our cappers from tonight. Wait, goodbye, guys. You guys have a great afternoon.